Welcome to the Exes. It is a podcast experiment. I'm Jay Whatley. To my right, the one and only, my ex. I've had other exes, but no ex like this ex. I have.
You have.
Yeah. That's Kaci Meacham. Baby mama. Mm-hmm. So we are doing this.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but that's
true.
all I've gotten is you're not really going to do a podcast with your ex, right?
Same. I got that too. I got why.
Yeah, I got a lot of whys.
I don't know.
I'm interested to tell the story, though, of how this came to be before we tell other stories. You have some stories on me, I've heard, right? You've been talking a little shit the last week that you got some stories to tell about me.
Stories? No, I don't have stories.
Oh, okay. I was curious.
Stories?
So I think we'll talk more about it during episode 1, but I just want to make clear that I think pretty much what everyone is interested in, and they're wondering if we're going to talk about it, I think we just got to point out that, yeah, absolutely, we will, right? You know. There's something everyone, I've gotten it all, like the last week, are y'all going to talk about it? And I've said, yeah, we are.
I don't know. We'll rock, paper, scissors it.
Well,
I don't know yet.
I've never lost that.
We'll see.
But I think before we do any of that, first I want to talk about how the podcast became like more than just a funny idea on the phone call. Because do you remember how it came up initially? Mm-hmm. Well, it really started in your head years ago.
Yeah.
You had the idea a long time ago when I couldn't even do a podcast for other reasons.
Yeah, because I wanted to help people, help others that maybe have to struggle with a baby mama or a baby daddy. Yeah. And the baby daddy can't communicate.
Oh, yeah. For those people, I mean, you wouldn't know anything about that. But for those people, I agree. I think they do need a podcast to listen to. But no, so I started KSBC a few weeks ago, and part of the company, part of the idea was to have 2 podcasts. And hopefully I don't have to host both of them. I'd rather just do one with you. I don't know how much I can handle. But we wanted one that was very local to our community where we live. And for me, that one's easy. I can do a podcast here in our community tomorrow. Yeah. But we had to have another podcast that could reach outside of Shreveport, Bossier. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when we started the company, I called you and we were talking about it. And I told you, I said, well, I need a concept or an idea for a podcast that is not hyper-local to Shreveport, Louisiana. Yes. And then you said,
we need to do a podcast.
And then I said,
no.
Fuck no. I think I hung up in your face, actually. I think it was an immediate, you're crazy, that would never work. And then you kept, and you convinced me, you do a lot of that, certainly these days.
What?
You do a lot of convincing me on things.
Well, you're growing up.
I am.
I'm proud of you.
And I'm only 23, so that's...
No. I'm sorry.
So you kept, and then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, it's absolutely batshit crazy. And if you would have told me 6 or 7 years ago that you and I would do a podcast together, I would say you're absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think it's going to work. I think that's what, eventually I got to the point where I couldn't find another podcast similar. I couldn't find anything with 2 like real exes. I'm not talking about we dated for a couple weeks and we still go get drinks every weekend and we're friends with benefits on the side.
Like we were basically married without the license.
I was gonna say, don't say without the rings, because 2 of those suckers. You got
Man, those amount to. I mean, that means that's everything.
I was just saying. I thought you were about to say marriage without the rings. I just had to.
Did you get the ring back?
I did. Okay. One of them, yeah.
Well, it's the end.
Let's talk about that other ring, though. No, I don't want that ring. I had to get you a second one because the first one was so bad. We'll talk about that. About that. But I think mainly because I since we put out the videos, I have had a lot of people ask me kind of what we're doing and if it's real. Yeah. So I wanted to say it is real.
It is.
It was all your idea. Our kids don't want us to do this.
No.
But I do think once we get past the you and I part of this, which might take 100 episodes, right? Maybe on episode 101. I think it really is. I think what we have is a very unique relationship now, years removed from some real trauma. I think for both of us. I think you would agree with that, right?
I think in a way you're still going through it because with males they avoid.
What do you mean? I'm perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So I just think, you are still going through it. I processed it all. I was going through it before you even kind of knew I was going through something,
Right.
So it's like we're at different stages, but yeah, I mean, just helping people. Like, I would like to help people that are struggling through this because it's very hard. We're on a different timeline at a younger age than, we're not just 30 in our 30s. And, like, I mean, I feel like it's such an old soul, like, compared to people that are around my age now because we've been through so much.
Yeah. I think that's really what I wanted to make clear because I know there's a lot of people even listening right now screaming at their phone saying, talk about it. What are you doing talking about anything else? Talk about it. And I think we will get to that point. And I think we'll in the process, we'll work through kind of our past and present and future. And I think the goal, though, is not so you and I can hash our shit out in public for an hour. Because I think a lot of people were thinking that this week. I had a guy message and say, oh, you're doing a podcast just so you can talk shit to your ex. And it's like, well, no, that's not it. Like, that's not the goal. I'm sure there will be funny moments between us, but I think the goal is there's so many people out there that certainly maybe they don't even realize that they're going through kind of maybe what we went through.
Yeah.
And also co-parenting years later after something like that and doing it well and being cordial. And our relationship is so unique. We really do have a fun relationship that not many people know about.
Yeah.
Well, we don't vocalize it.
Well, we actually had a relationship. So that's the difference. And, you can only understand if you actually had that friendship in a relationship of being best friends with somebody.
Yeah.
And going through all the stuff that we went through in a short amount of time. It was going back to back. It was not, we didn't even make it to year 10. So, I mean, we were going through a lot of stuff very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't relate to that. And I feel like if you didn't have the best friend type of friendship that we did and then go into the relationship with that, it's very hard to understand how we don't hate each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but this coming about, it really has came full circle to me is like, there is actually a reason for everything, for you to grow and, just circle back around. And so it really is like life is crazy in that way.
Well, I think what's funny is we've had a lot of conversations on the phone that could be a great podcast episode, Most of them usually end with you cussing me out and hanging up in my face.
I don't think so. I don't think that should.
But part of that part, I think if you take a nice sample of a lot of we have deep conversations. So if you're going through something, you'll call me. If I'm going through something, I've called you. And we kind of have a way of communicating with each other, though.
Yeah, it could be something that doesn't have anything to do with you or me. And
for sure.
Yeah.
I will say this. I don't want to do videos for these podcasts anymore. I'll tell you why. I had the worst week ever, confidence-wise, because I put out these promo videos for this podcast, right? And I can't tell you how many people reached out to me and said, holy shit, that's your baby mama? Like, I'm not saying that you're out of my league or anything, but these people were shocked that you and I had 2 children together. I mean, they needed answers. And I think that's bullshit. I think I'm guapo. I think if anything, you outkicked your coverage by landing me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can keep doing the podcast video then, if you agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to tell you that people couldn't believe how beautiful you were compared to how ugly I was.
I don't think looks really matter. Okay.
That's a nice way of saying that you agree with them, and I just want you to know that I noted it. And I'll file it in the back. What do you believe this podcast will be? What do you think what do you want it to be?
If I just help one person that is going through, what would you even call that? Like, I guess just feeling alone, like, especially whether you're in your 20s or 30s, like, it's really not loneliness. It's not like the physical state of, but it's like more of a mental state of, just feeling like you can't relate to anybody. And like, this living in a small town as well, you only see the outside of most of the people's lives and stuff like that. And so I'm just trying to be brave here and like put my life out and just help someone and get them to like understand like real stuff. I mean, well, that's what life is about. You know, it is, you're going to have sadness. You're going to have happiness. I mean, I don't know how to word that.
I get it.
Jay.
Yeah,
like,
I totally get it.
Like,
I think you're
I
wording
don't
it
want
great.
somebody to feel alone in their mind, regardless if you have family, because sometimes, like, even in romance, like, nobody can fulfill you romantically. You know, you can have family around you all day, but that romantic relationship, it's hard to fulfill that need. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people, young people, people in their late 20s, people in their 30s, it's very, very hard finding somebody to connect with. And, you know, I would like to help people in that way. Yeah.
I think it's funny that because we have to classify the podcast as something. I didn't know that going in. So it was like, well, what's the podcast about? Like, it's niche. Like, there's movies podcasts, there's sports podcasts. And the only one that we really fit in was relationships.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny because, don't take offense to this, I think you and I are both horrible at relationships. I don't think you and I have figured out how to date.
No, I'm sorry. You're a male. I'm a female.
Oh, am I? I don't think...
That means something. I'm not equal to you. Like, that is a good point of how men act towards women nowadays. Like, we're not equal. My relationships and me, like, not settling down with somebody does not equivalent to you not finding somebody. Does that make sense?
It does. I did not know you were going to go cook on me all of a sudden. I was just saying that all our relationships since we broke up have been complete shit.
I'm not bad at relationships, though. Men...
Oh, the men are all bad.
Men are all bad. I think men... don't want to settle down in this age. I don't think men want to settle down. Like, I really don't.
The girls do?
Some girls do, yes. Some girls do want to settle down.
This is off to a great
That's why you have
start.
to get to know a person. You can't just, like, be like, take your word from a friend or hear a rumor or see them and, you know, be like, oh, that's who they are.
Okay, well, then I can say for myself, I do suck at relationships. I can openly admit that. I think we have a different philosophy, though, on dating now and kind of what we want individually. Like my daughter's Rosie's here. Hey, Rose. She's so happy that we're doing this podcast together. She's so excited for the fame and all that will come with this. Huh? I'm kidding. River does think that, though. You know what River said the other day? She said, I don't want you to do a podcast because I don't want my friends at school seeing it.
They already hear you on the radio.
Yeah, I know, but they hate
You're
me.
at the Mudbugs games.
They changed the channel.
I mean, everything.
They leave the Mudbug games early when they see me. I think I have been horrible at relationships, and
you had a different thing to get through than me, though.
Oh yeah. I think that's certainly true. Like the person that I was when I was with you.
Did you just burp again?
I think this Corona's going nuts on me, man. It's the first one though. I mean, it happens. It was nowhere near you though, so. There's plenty of space in between us.
I don't know where the vent is, but it's going right in my nostrils.
I'm about to leave, and you will have 40 minutes to fill, okay?
That'd be great.
Wow.
Y'all been listening to him for, what, 15 years? My turn.
Wow. It's that easy, huh? Can I just get through my point
Okay.
without burping?
Can you?
I'm bad. I'm so bad at dating, so I just think it's funny because I can tell you and we will disagree on a lot. And I think that's a healthy thing.
Do you think we could be together today?
No. God,
Hell
no.
to the no.
Jesus, no. I got that a lot this week, too. And I was like, you guys are all fucking stupid.
We couldn't. You couldn't live with me. You literally could not stand me now.
Well, that's not entirely true. I think we get along better than we have since we broke up.
Yeah, getting along is different than living together, though.
Yeah,
like, you could
I
never.
would never want that. God,
exactly. No. You would never want that. So.
No.
It's like, I mean.
See you later.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do 1 hour a week. I think we're going to kill each other. I think it's going to end in a double homicide by episode 3. Oh. This is great. This is a really fun thing that we're doing. A
sweat rag? Is that a sweat rag? What is that?
It's hot in here. By the way, we are at the beautiful big country of Bossier City. Have to point that out. In every episode, we're going to take this on the road. So if you have a business out there and maybe you want us to come and host, we can host it while you're open, while you're closed, but you can certainly just reach out to us directly about that. But thank you. Yes, I am sweating because I didn't let Big Country know we were coming today. So it's hot in here. Is that cool with you? Mm-hmm. We have mailbag questions we're going to get into during this episode. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about you and I when we first got together.
Okay.
Do you remember? I mean, that was so long ago now. I mean,
I remember everything.
You were a year, less than a year out of high school?
I wasn't out of high school when I met you. I was actually on a date with somebody that knew you, or not like a date, but like at a dance dinner type of thing while I was still in high school, and you walked in and you had like this leather black jacket on, and like a blonde mohawk.
God, that was so good.
Yeah,
man.
it was that, and you had blue eyes, so I was like,
it was easy for me.
So I hunted you down and like stalked you on the internet and found out that you were like on the radio, did all a bunch of stuff, added you on Facebook. Tried to talk to you for like 4 months, and you stood me up 3 times. I would get all dressed and ready. I went and bought a new outfit.
Damn, just think if I did it a 4th time.
And you canceled.
Just think.
You would cancel and be like, oops, forgot to text you back. I'm with my friends. I'm like, wow. So finally, I think, like, I don't know what happened. One night you just said yes.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I know that we were friends on Facebook.
Yeah,
first.
that's when
and
I
we were
hunted
like
you down,
poking each other and messaging back and forth.
I think I messaged you.
I don't remember standing
for sure.
you up, though. I don't think that ever happened.
It did.
I think that's...
It did.
I think that's...
It happened.
I think that's bullshit.
It happened like 3 or 4 times. 3 times. Because you were supposed to take me to a Mudbucks game. And you canceled on me. I literally was all ready to go.
It
was devastating.
It's just hard to take girls to Mudbug games, you know? Because you see all the other girls and they're attacking me, basically. You know, I don't want to put anybody through that. So I really, if I stood you up that night, I did it for you. And then
you invited me to like a Halloween party, didn't get to go. Like a bunch of stuff.
And then we went on our first date to Tokyo. Do you remember what happened then?
Yes.
You can say it. I think it's a good one.
I was so nice to you.
You were incredibly nice, yeah. We went on our first date, and I was at the time doing radio, and I was making no money. Not much has changed. But I was really making no money, like really, literally no money. And I remember I had about $80 in my bank account that day. And I checked my bank account before dinner to make sure that we could go to dinner. And I was like, oh, shit, it's still $80. We can do it. We can afford it. And I just remember all night, I was checking it like throughout the dinner, making sure no crazy charges came out. And the bill came up, and it was like $60.
It was like $79.
Yeah, it was really. We cut it really close.
Yeah. And then the waiter came back and like said, you know, it declined or whatever.
It's the worst feeling I've ever had. Like that first date feeling was worse than any feeling I had with you for the next 8 or 9 some odd years.
Yeah, I didn't even register that. Like, I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Like. I didn't even think about you not having the money to like take me to dinner. I was just like, oh, whatever. Like my mom gave me her card, so here you go.
I just remember, I can't even tell you. I mean, thinking about it now, I still kind of, you know, I have sympathy for that kid that tried to take you on a date because I know what he was, you know, what he was trying to do. But I think any other guy, and me included, when the card got declined, I was like, well, that's it. I'll never hear from her again. Like I just remember feeling so bad about that.
No, my family did not raise me like that.
Yeah.
So.
And then to be totally blunt, I don't remember our second date.
I think you came to
the pool.
The pool.
You were a lifeguard at the pool.
Lifeguarded.
Yeah, I had to see you in a bikini before I, you know.
Oh my Lord. That would be a bikini. That's a onesie.
Yeah, but I mean, you see things. Things moved pretty fast for us in the beginning. I proposed to you pretty fast. You moved in with me pretty fast. I think you moved in with me after a few months, right?
Probably like a
month. Who could blame you? I mean, I was perfect. We had a big house, right? Do you remember where we lived? A 1-bedroom studio
Everything
apartment?
was cool to me. So you have to understand, I'm really artsy and like I like different.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't really about like expensive things. Like for me, and you lived in a loft. Like you didn't view yourself how I viewed you. You lived in a loft. I thought it was awesome. You were on the radio. You were trying to be a Christian rapper.
I was not trying. I wasn't trying. I had 300,000 views on YouTube, you know.
So I was
Wasn't trying.
really,
Let's clear that
I
up.
mean, it was really amazing. Like what you were doing, it was different. It was artistic. It was like how you dressed was different. So I looked at you. You were like 2.5 years older than me. I looked at you like you were the coolest ever. And then we were meeting Andy Grammer. We were meeting all those people. And I was just like, it really wasn't the money. It really wasn't the money aspect of anything. You didn't have anything, you didn't have a nice car. You didn't have, but it was just like how you were, who you were, what we were trying to do. You like had a different outlook.
Yeah.
So that's what got me attracted to you to begin with. So when you let me stay over there, I was like, heck yes, because you were funny. You were, we
had our TV on a Tupperware box. Do you remember that?
Yes, and we would literally sit there and play Mario Kart. It was it was a good friendship.
Yep. But then we had our first daughter, River.
Yes.
Pretty quick. I mean, we were expecting River within the first year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then it's home.
And you were...
Things definitely changed, though. I mean, I remember when we were expecting River, I quit radio. We got fired, actually, but we don't have to talk about that. Some drama there. But it was a good thing because I was making... Yeah, right at Christmas, right after the Christmas party.
Okay.
Number 1 in ratings. Everything's fine. I'm not going to say what was told to me, but whenever we announced...
Yes, and that's what I mean by everything we went through.
Yeah.
It was just unreal.
I remember it was a good thing, though, because at that point I was making like $12,000 a year on the radio. I mean, I was making more money in the clubs already. Yeah. So it was a good thing I got fired because I had a daughter on the way. And I still say that first time I got fired was the best thing that happened to me career-wise, just because I needed to leave because I went and sold cars. Mm-hmm. And hated it. Worked all day, every day.
But you're really good at it.
No, I wasn't. I was so bad. Just because I hated selling cars. I hated when I met strangers, I would be so happy to meet them. And it was genuine. I was not faking at all. I was so nice. And I wanted them to know, and they just thought I was a rat bitch snake. Because I was a salesman, and I just hated that experience.
Yeah.
And there's still a few, believe it or not, I still talk to people I sold cars to.
Yeah.
To this day, there's a few that you can make a connection with. I just hated that business. But then from selling cars, I got the job producing the Tim Brando show on national television, national radio, and that helped. And we had River while I had that job.
Yes.
But without getting fired and without doing the cars and without getting that gig somehow with Brady Blade Studios and Tim Brando show, I'm not saying River came into the world with a lot, because she didn't. I think we'll talk about that ad nauseum, I'm sure, over the course of this podcast. Mm-hmm. I think one thing I'm really upset about to this day, thinking back, is how little River had when she was born. We had support, but I mean financially, how hard it was if she needed this or that. I couldn't just get her the best car seat that day or the best stroller,
But you did.
Yeah, I did, but it's like it wasn't easy. It
was hard. It was a struggle. Yeah.
And she didn't. She really didn't. At least that's how I see it. I just wish I gave her more. But without all of that shit happening leading up to her being born, God only knows. Like, I couldn't imagine living in that studio apartment in downtown Shreveport, loft apartment with a newborn child making $13,000 a year doing radio. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have worked.
Okay, so how you look at things is it's hard or whatever, but I just think it's so amazing because people are doing the bare minimum in their relationships, like complain about little things here and there, right now to this day. But you back then, literally within a year, got fired after knowing that you were having a baby and went and hustled, got out of the loft, got me in a safe place and River into Benton.
Yeah.
At an apartment, and went and worked your ass off right before she was born. We had everything we needed. I don't care if it was brand new.
Yeah.
Like, we had everything we could possibly need. And you were 22?
I was 21 actually when River was born.
21.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was 22, Taylor Swift had a hit song called 22. And I love that song. But I remember playing Super Mario and singing that song.
Anyways, so yeah, I think you need to look at it as like a positive thing.
I definitely do. I'd look at it as a positive.
Yeah.
I just know, like, when Rosie was born, so Rosie was born 3 years later. Do you want to talk about what happened in between that or no? I don't think we've ever talked about that. We don't have to. We'll get into that at some other point. But this is why I brought that up. I think it's important for us because there's going to be a lot of people, obviously, that know us that they maybe read things on Facebook or they don't really know what our relationship was and how long it lasted and all that, and the cool, fun way it ended. After River was born, I noticed. I think that was the first time our relationship probably changed. Would you agree? Maybe I was working more. No. I was stressed out more. I mean, I was not.
No, I think like being that young, you could want attention from outsources. I mean, you would get a lot of outsource attention, like for out of the home, external attention, and where I wouldn't. And so I think like that, I would categorize that as like being immature or whatever like that. I noticed like it was 100% after I had Rose, where things just kept. I guess you could say I was for years kind of being like told, you mean everything to me, and you would show me how you did. Like I said, you worked your ass off, you know. But when it come to stuff like this is how I want it to do, I would be put on the back burner on important things. I would constantly be left on the back burner, and I'd be patient.
Yeah,
I'd be very, very patient.
Yeah.
And just wait, and then Blade Studios or whoever else that was in front of your face.
Yeah.
What was that tour you went on?
The MadCon tour.
I mean, there was so many things that were just, and I understand why you put those there because you were trying to make something of yourself. But I think there were certain things for me that was that important to me that I needed attention to.
I remember and it's easier to notice it now just thinking back to it. I just remember, certainly after Rosie, but I remember feeling it after River to an extent. But when we had our second, I just remember the overwhelming feeling of trying to keep the boat afloat and failing miserably. I just remember, I remember working nightclubs until 7 a.m. every Friday and Saturday night and coming home to 2 kids that are just now waking up and not showing you the attention and really probably not showing them the attention that much. I just remember at the time, though, thinking, if I want to further my career, I have to do this. I have to work these clubs because radio's not paying me enough money. I have to work the clubs to make the money. And like stuff with the MadCon tour, it's like I get an opportunity in my head. It's like, this is a shot. And in my career, I've never had a shot. I've never had the ability to have a shot. As soon as I kind of broke through in radio, I had kids, and we were grounded immediately. We have great family and great support. I remember we had discussions here and there about moving, and it never happened because we didn't want to take the kids away from their family here.
Yeah.
I just know I would still take the shots when I could, when I had a chance where I thought I have to keep this whole boat afloat if it means that I got to work around the clock. At that point, all I was thinking of is making money and keeping everyone happy. And in my head, I was thinking, well, shit, if we can just get through this patch and we can get to this next step, then we'll have the money and we'll have the job, and then we can be a relationship again. But until then, it's just balls to the wall work all day, every day. And I do think that contributed to our relationship ending. I think you were obsessed with your work. I think anything that came your way, you were highly obsessed with it, and no one was going to, even if somebody told you, they shouldn't do that, you'd be like, I'm doing it. Yeah, like you were very obsessed. And then we have the fun thing. Now, we don't have to talk about it yet, because for episode number 1 and every episode moving forward, we're going to have a mailbag. This is where our viewers can send in their questions. I think we're working on an email, but we don't have it yet. Is that true?
It'll be up.
It'll be up, and we'll share it on socials. But in the meantime, you can just go to our Instagram page or KSBC on Facebook and submit questions there. It's our mailbag. This is the Exes, a podcast experiment. Eventually, we'll just call it the Exes podcast, but in the meantime, it is an experiment because I got no clue how this is going to work.
Right.
This could end quickly.
Yes.
Okay. So we asked our followers on our Instagram, and it's Exes at Exes Experiment, to send in questions for the mailbag. We had some really good ones. Casey, I'm going to start with this one because I like this one. Casey, say 3 things that you like about Jay. I like that one. 3 things. Wow.
Hold on.
Wow. I mean, it took you a long time.
Okay, I'm just going to say one real quick.
Yep.
you are a great father to my kids.
That's nice. Thank you.
Like I would love to have a dad that you are to them. You know what I mean? Like you show up to everything you possibly can. Just the little things that a lot of people don't think about that matters. You're a hard worker.
And I have blue eyes. I know the third thing. I mean, that's an easy one. I like the same about you. I like that you're a great mother. I think I've seen the single scene in Shreveport long enough now to know that I can't, like, when you have kids with somebody, it's a risk. I mean, it just is. You don't know who they're going to turn into after they have kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you're their mom for sure. I like that you gave my kids brown eyes because, you know, I like brown eyes. And I like that you are endlessly Kaci Meacham, and a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are 3-4 different people all wrapped into one, depending on who they're around.
You think I'm still the same person you met?
No, you're totally different, but you're still you. You're
just, like
you're
personality-wise,
who you are.
Yeah.
No, you're totally night and day different than how you were. I mean, I'm telling you, 8 years ago, I never wanted to see your face again. So.
Yeah, but my personality has always been the same, right?
No, definitely not.
It's changed?
Yeah,
really?
For sure. I think everyone's. I think
we're both just the exact same.
I think if it doesn't change in some way, though, then
personality.
Yeah, I'm not like I used to be. I don't think. I mean, I think if you're friends with me, maybe so. But like in the general, I'm not. Like you know people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got another one for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Actually, this one's for me. Jay. How much money do you think you've spent on Kaci during y'all's tumultuous relationship?
The bad is
like
that
a dollar amount? No, I think it just.
I know
means
exact. I can tell you.
Huh? What'd you just
Wait,
say? I couldn't hear you.
During relationship?
Yeah, like how much money have I spent
or
on you?
Or after the relationship?
No, not after.
Okay.
No, not after.
I didn't know.
I don't know if you can put an exact number on that. A shit ton.
I don't know that number.
Well, you got to think when we were in a relationship, I took pride in taking care of things. Like I really did. I think a lot of it's because our first date ended so badly. I constantly thought about that. So I never wanted you to pay for the entire time we were dating, did you ever pay for dinner?
I didn't even have a bank account.
Did you ever hold a door open? You know, I think I just took pride in that. So I couldn't put a number on it, but I just remember at the time I thought that's what my role was, to take care of everything. First date do's and don'ts. If you're on a first date with somebody. Yeah. My don't is, I think when we get into actual dating, I think that's where we'll have the most disagreements. Because I don't think you and I agree with a lot dating-wise. I think for me, if I'm on a date with a girl, a first date, because it's first date do's and don'ts, don't bring up my children. I hate that. It drives me nuts. It's like, I don't even know your last name, and you want to know about my kids and what school they go to and stuff like that. I don't like that. I don't want you to meet my kids. I want us to figure each other out, which is going to take some time, because I think they're the reward in my head. It's like you really got to earn the chance to be in their lives. And for me, that's the biggest don't. A do, make out with me crazy, you know? I want to make out right then on the first date. I want to make sure that thing works. That's the first date do for me. Regardless of how the date goes, I expect a kiss at the end of the night. I don't think am I wrong?
Maybe you should shave that nasty beard.
This beard gets me everything I want and then some.
Okay. Can I answer that
Girls
one?
travel miles just to see this beard in person.
Dues. I don't know. I don't know about dues.
Have enough money in your account so your car doesn't get declined?
Yeah. But I have my own money to.
What's your don'ts then if you don't have any dues?
I have don'ts.
God,
I wouldn't know because
you have dues
okay,
and
see,
you're
the
afraid
only,
to say
no,
it.
listen. The only reason.
I gotta put
my
my
foot
down now.
Can I speak, please? The only reason I don't know, I can't give a specific like what you should do is because I've never had a type. I've never had
to hold the door open for you.
Yeah, I mean that's regular stuff. If you don't
it's
even
not
know
reg-
that,
it's a
I'm not
question.
dating you.
You just said you don't have any dues.
Let me talk.
Oh.
If you don't know how to open a door for a woman, there's zero chance I'm on a date with you already. So it's like
Bullshit.
100%.
Nope.
Who have I dated that wouldn't open a door for me?
I mean, how long? We only have 30 more minutes.
I've only had 4 boyfriends.
Oh my God. Okay.
Anyway, so I would say for men, oh my God, do not
You already said it. So
Do
sin
not
counted.
talk about yourself for the entire time.
You hate that.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Like, I can't even get a word in with you, like, hardly. But, like,
True.
It is unbelievable how much these men want to talk about themselves. And I get
These men. I mean, girls do that too, though. These men. What are you talking about? These men. Are you kidding me? All right, you could. Hey, come on back. Come on back. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I'm sitting there and you're telling, like, I'm going to ask you my own questions. I don't want to talk about, hunting or this basketball game or what you did in college for 30 minutes. I want to get to know you, and I feel like that's a big issue. As soon as I sit down, it's like 30 minutes or 40 minutes of them talking about themselves, and I don't even get a word in. I would say don't. Let the woman kind of talk a little bit to get to know her.
You hate that.
Because it just seems like they don't care what we say. Like, they don't care about what we did today. Like, nothing. They don't care. They want to sit there and talk about themselves. And it's like, why don't you just call your mom?
But what if I told you that every girl I've gone on a date with has done that too? It's not like
there is no way
thing.
that I believe that unless you have physical proof, because your mouth is not shut. So.
But I'm telling you, like, that's not a man or woman thing.
Yes,
that's
it is.
the people that you're going on a date with.
Okay. Then don't genderize. I don't know what you want me to say. When I go, I'm a straight woman. When I go on a date, it would be a man.
Okay.
So I'm saying man. Is that okay with you?
Have you ever tried the other way, though? Maybe that's what we're doing wrong.
No.
Oh. This is a good one. Would you rather get back with your ex or never drink alcohol again?
Do I get a pick an ex?
That's what I was going to say, because I have a couple exes that I think I'd give it a shot with.
You do not have exes. Those are dates. You do not have a relationship. A relationship is different than a date. You have not had a relationship since when?
I have had a relationship since you.
How long did it last? A week?
4 months.
That is a damn lie.
It's not a damn lie. That's a great story about
does she live in Hawaii? Where'd she live?
No, she's a traveling nurse now, and she ghosted me on my birthday after 4 months.
Ew.
She hurt
Not
me
a
worse than you
relationship.
did. We need to bring her in here to have a damn podcast with her. I got some
It's
things
not
to say
who
to that
hurt you
one.
the most. I mean, you didn't hurt me.
Did you?
You didn't hurt me.
Oh.
Like,
Well, no, I couldn't. I think I would not give up drinking alcohol. I would have to pick that.
yeah.
There's not an ex that I care about.
I would definitely pick the alcohol out of all my exes for sure. But
Okay. I think I have another fun one here, and then we'll wrap up the mailbag. But these are really great. I think we need to get more mailbags in so we can disagree more.
are they anonymous?
And they are not.
Okay, we need to make it anonymous so people.
I know all of these people. I know I can find their address if I wanted it. So be careful with what you send. We need to do the email address, I think.
Yeah, it needs to be like so people like we won't know who asked the question.
Hang
That's
on,
not
I
fair.
found a good question. I just can't find it. This one's a funny one. Who's your celebrity hall pass, Jay, since we already know who Casey's was?
That wasn't a celebrity hall pass.
Yeah, I did not give you permission to do that.
It wasn't a celebrity. Like,
Well, that's not true. He was an ultra celebrity, a super celebrity.
that's not a celebrity in my opinion.
In your opinion, is
That's
different than the
different.
world.
Yes, because I've known them since like that's not the same thing.
Yeah, but a hall pass is when, like, if
You
given the
agree,
opportunity,
yeah.
you would allow me to get it on
Yeah.
with the hottest woman on the face of the planet, who is, and this is undebatable, Zoe Saldana. She's, without question, that would be my hall pass.
Who's that?
Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Oh, man. She's beautiful, though. She's the most
Yeah.
perfect creation on the earth.
But I mean, that is your hall. That's.
I can't think of another person on the planet that's more beautiful.
Is she
than that
dressed up
woman.
in the Gamora costume or no?
Oh, no. I'm not into that. I'm way out on that one. No, there was a really good one that I wanted to end on, so you just talk for a second and I'll find it. It's not so easy, is it? Oh, by the way, my man Josh Munns is here with Melissa Munns, my favorite power couple, and they're helping us out because I don't know anything about technical or podcasts, but Josh is here.
Let's talk about your block list.
Let's talk about what?
Your block list.
My block list?
I'm still blocked.
She is. She's still blocked.
I'm still blocked off of his social media.
So you can get over here and get on the microphone if you want.
I just want to stay anonymous.
Josh, well, I've already said your first and last name, so Josh wants me to talk about my block list.
Well, you mentioned earlier your relationship stuff.
Okay.
Your You mentioned this whole block list. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
but
that's
I don't know how public I want to make that situation. I'll talk to you about that. My friends think it's funny. I actually think it's healthy. I don't. Wow, I don't do this that often anymore. But I certainly had a period where I had no interest in dating anyone. But I was crystal clear with that up front. With anyone that I talked to or met, I was crystal clear that I don't want a relationship. I'm fine to hang out. If you want to hang out, like, that's cool. I don't want to feel the pressure of a relationship afterwards. I'm bad at relationships and I don't want it. Well, a lot of times we'd go out and I'd just block him afterwards because I never wanted to hear from him again. Because it would, no matter what happened after that, it would be weird. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Why? God, Josh, I can't believe you brought this up. I thought at the time, though, it was healthy, and if anything, I was doing them a favor.
No, you weren't even healthy enough to hang out with somebody. That's what you're saying. You're not even healthy enough to risk hanging out with somebody and actually liking them, and that's exactly what that is. And so you shouldn't be, like, even, I mean, where do you meet these people from? Like a dating app or something? Like, you shouldn't even be on a dating app.
Why shouldn't I be on a dating app?
Unless you're going to hook up, like, and y'all both know that it's just a hookup, then why are you hanging out?
That is what I'm saying I did. Everyone knew, everyone that I've been
Oh,
with.
that's what you,
everyone
that's
has
it?
known the stakes.
So you hook up with them and then you block them.
So that's not entirely true. I only do it when I feel like there's some attachment there. And I feel like that is healthy because it rips the Band-Aid off of this, you know, you haven't texted me back in 4 hours. When can you meet my parents? Like, that shit happens fast these days. So I think the second I feel like that's coming, I just block them. And then I see them in big country and I'm like, oh, my phone broke. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to be nice.
Okay, you are what's wrong. Like this.
Oh, I am?
This is very wrong.
This
is so unhealthy. Like,
no, but they know the game before. It's not. No.
That's
It's crystal clear. It's not like I'm
but
doing something that I didn't say to them that I would do. It's all up front. I don't want the attachment. Get on the microphone if you're going to just keep popping in and ruining my reputation and my life.
I can't believe you do this.
I don't do it every time. I do it only.
You can say, hey,
We're gonna have sex and then I'm gonna block.
I don't say it like that.
No, you have to say it like
I say it like, no.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're literally lying to these people.
I'm
Like,
not lying.
Okay, you don't want a relationship, but you don't want their phone number ever contacting
They
you
don't
ever
want a
again. What if
relationship.
I mean, like, this is just unbelievable. You are very bad.
You
this
did
is bad.
but you did this to me.
No.
If you really want to, if you want to talk about right or wrong, we can talk about right or wrong. You created this monster.
Jay.
And by the way, yes, Melissa, thank you for being here, by the way, and helping out. I meet girls. Sometimes I know girls already. And if you have an open dialogue with girls, most of them will tell you that they're not interested in a relationship either. And if they are interested in a relationship, guess what? We don't hang out because they know that I'm upfront and crystal clear that I don't want a relationship. I don't want anyone to have any type of...
Yeah, but why can't you just be an adult and like a grown up and be like, hey,
I am being a
please
grown-up.
don't blow up my phone. Like, please don't blow up my phone because I'm very busy. Like, people do it all the time. People don't just go and have a block list day. Like, you cannot communicate.
Mine is so long.
You don't, oh my God.
It is bad.
Show the camera.
It is bad. Yeah, I think there's names, though. I think there's names. If it was only phone numbers, I would show it. But for me, it's more like I don't want to be a jerk at that point. I think it's easier for me just to ghost and get the hell out of
That
it.
is being a jerk.
I think if anything, I'm being nice. I think if I was to text them, then that, if I would say, stop blowing up my phone, you're a psycho.
No, you don't say it like that. You have to communicate. You just say, hey, I'm very busy. Please, I don't have time for this right now.
Do you have
Please
any more
do not.
questions, Josh? I love so far what you've done.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
So,
Or you could just not hook up. I don't hook up, so like that's that peace,
Yeah, but I think you should give that a shot. I mean, that's fun.
No.
I think I don't hook up it's not like I hook up a lot. And also, what Josh is referring to, and he's so kind to bring it up live on the first episode of the podcast, that was a few years ago. I mean, that's not something that I standard practice today. I had a date this week. Like, I'm dating now. But I had probably 4 or 5 years where I just refused. Okay, let me put it like this. When you did what you did, I had 2 years where I lived in a dark hole in my house and it ever came up.
Yeah.
Josh knew me then. Josh can attest to this.
Yeah.
I was a shell. I didn't know how to continue. I didn't know how to be funny. Not saying that I was ever funny or will be funny again.
Why do you think you took that so hard?
I can tell you exactly why. I've of course now with all the time I've
no,
really
hold
thought
on. I'm
about
sorry. I need to reword because I need to like pinpoint the hurt.
Yeah,
is it from the
Can I
betrayal, or is
No.
it from
No.
me being
There's multiple layers there.
your
We'll talk
kid's
about it.
mother?
That's the biggest one for
Yeah,
sure. I
okay.
think it's about feeling
No,
inadequate.
I understand.
I think it's about feeling inadequate in the eyes of your children because at that time I didn't know what you and him would be. I had no clue if that was a fling.
But I told you.
I know, but can I just finish?
Yeah.
I didn't know. You got to see it from my perspective now.
I do,
No, you
but
don't.
I told you you didn't want to believe what I was telling you.
That's also true. But you also told me for years that you weren't talking to him. So don't act like you never lied, and I could believe every word you
Yeah.
said. So in my head, I'm thinking about this huge, massive star, regardless on how you and him were, viewed him, and like he is what he is. At that point, he's still a star. He's known worldwide. In my head, Rosie, you can leave for this one. In my head, I'm kidding, Rosie. In my head, I was and it's so different now. Like this is what I was thinking. What was that? 8
Because you were
years
like
ago?
spiraling, like you're like
Spiraling,
Yeah.
yes, but more than the betrayal, and that hurt too, of course. It all hurt. All I could think of is in 3 or 4 years, my kid seeing him and comparing him to me.
okay. I see.
And
I understand that.
That's the worst feeling I could ever. Like, fuck, I wish you would have picked anyone else. I really do. Because it wouldn't have hurt. I could have looked at anyone else and been like, oh, okay, screw that guy. He's nothing. Who is he? But you can't really say that when they're a mega ultra super celebrity because then you always feel inadequate. And at the time, like now, let's say y'all would have worked and everything would have went fine. I would not feel bad anymore because I know the relationship I have with my kids. And I know how they view me. And I know that they're moody and one's about to be a teenager and I know I'll get on their nerves. I just think I was scared at the time that my kids would grow
You're
up
insecure.
and think that I was a pussy because of what you left me for. And that
But I didn't leave you for.
I know that now. But at the time, I didn't. I was hosting a fucking wiener dog race at Harrah's Louisiana Downs with my 2 children at my house, and you and your mom were over there. And that killed me. At that night, I was in the hospital for like 9 hours that night.
Wait, you're
I don't know
getting
the date.
ahead of
I don't
me.
know
Like,
the date.
no, like you're saying that, like this was after we split.
We had just split. I don't know
okay.
how long. I can't tell you. It's been so long now.
So that would have
But-
been October. So it was from August to
I just know
October.
I don't know when it was. I know you and
Well,
your
I'm
mom,
telling
who I
you.
loved your mom like my mom, and I felt betrayed by that too. I remember
100%.
getting hurt by the thought of her inviting me to Thanksgiving and Christmas and helping me and becoming like a mom to me in a way. And then we have been separated. The father of your grandchildren has been separated with your daughter for this short amount of time. And you're in Dallas swinging around a towel, acting like it's the greatest thing in the world. I
Okay,
felt
so
like
let
an
me
idiot.
explain that.
Go ahead.
Because throughout the 8 years that we were together, how much care did you show
Yeah.
externally to us that we would know that you even gave a shit?
Yeah.
It wasn't
I
a
gave
lot.
no care.
No. It wasn't like no care, but it was like externally, you weren't a very emotional person. So like, we obviously knew that you were the best dad for me to have kids with. Every like the best boyfriend when it came to like, I mean, you would go get me ice cream if I want an ice cream, or and come back and
Rent out an entire
Right.
wedding venue for Valentine's Day with crawfish and candles. Yes,
Rent.
I've done that.
Rent.
Absolutely, I
Rent.
rented it. It wasn't free. It cost money. I have connections,
Jay,
sure.
yeah. Okay.
I think sometimes we misremember those certain things because the other day we were talking and you acted like I never did anything for you.
No,
that
it's
was
not that
sweet
you
like
didn't
that.
do that, but at the time we're talking about this time, right? This period of time where you're saying that we were just automatically over there. In that period of time, it didn't seem to us that you really cared. Like it was a lot of anger. It was a lot of like,
how could it not be angry?
I understand that now, just like you understand stuff now. But in the moment when somebody's angry at you, attacking you on social media and stuff like that, what are you supposed to do? Just go and live your life. Like you're just kind of like, I just want to get out. Like I just want.
I don't think that's what you do. I think when
I think
kids
that's what
are involved,
happened.
I think you actually sit there and you have the conversations that we have now, which are great.
100%. I think I was selfish a little bit. Yeah, I think I was selfish. I wasn't really thinking about you being hurt because I never had seen you hurt. Right. You didn't cry. I haven't seen you hurt. So I didn't really even think about you being sad. I thought about you having this whole town full of people with their support.
Yeah, but who else does this entire town of people love?
I don't know.
If you really think about that one.
Oh, is the time up?
No, we still got about 20 more minutes. I said all that, and look, we got a long podcast future together. I'm sure we can dive into that world deeper and do a real deep dive, a real retrospective. But my point was simply this. Whether it was meant or not, it did happen. And it did destroy me to the point where there was a whole year where I never thought I would get out of it. And I only got out of it because of my children. I only survived that because of my children. And every time I got a hair away from doing it, from really doing it, I thought about my kids. And without them, it would have never, there's no way I would have survived that. Impossible. Game over. My point, though, is that coming out of that nasty-ass fog that I was in, I would never, ever, ever, ever give anyone, a girl or anyone, a friend, a coworker, an employee, the power to hurt me the way that you did. Ever. So my way was getting back out there and not even communicating with girls after the deed was done. Does that make sense? Because I know for me, I could never be what they want in a man. I would never be interested in giving that. I would never be interested in giving at that point. I didn't have much left to give in the first place. So how could I ever be what anyone's looking for? So if it's mutual upon meeting that we're only going to hang out, then we only hang out. It's not like I lied to these girls and said that I want a relationship and then I ghosted them. For me, it was more like when I felt it getting more than just hanging out, then I ripcorded and I ghosted them. And I did that for a reason. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I had to at least say the state that I was in that time. Does that make sense now? Or am I still a jerk for ghosting girls?
You do you, man.
What?
I don't think you're ready for a relationship anyway, so I agree. I think if you want a block list, let Jay Whatley have his block list.
I get blocked all the time. See, it goes both ways. I don't pout about it these days. It just happens. Mm-hmm. You hate that I cannot believe that you hate that. I thought you'd understand that. You never blocked a guy?
I've blocked, I've blocked people, but that's just because, like, if somebody messes up or does something that they know is going to make me mad, I block them to not get their apology messages. I will eventually unblock them, but like if I'm trying to go about my week, I don't want these big ass apologies. You know what you did. I don't want to read it. You're not gonna make me feel guilty. But that's really the only thing, because I am a sucker for apologies and I like to forgive and stuff like that. So that's how you protect yourself in that way of like not letting people back in. But I would say like you could literally tell somebody like, instead of just blocking their number for forever after one time.
A lot of times it's not forever. A lot of times I will see people again and they'll say, what happened? I never heard from you again. And then I'm like, I was an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. And I'll block them and we're cool. We're still cool. There's some I still talk to, But for me, it was just, like I said, I just knew I didn't want a relationship, so I was going to avoid that at all costs. And really, I don't want a relationship now, but I am dating again. And I haven't dated. Since I've probably gone on maybe 5 or 6 first dates, like real first dates. Mm-hmm. And they all end poorly. But partly because I know really quickly in that process that, number one, I hate the get to know you of dating.
I think a lot of people do, but that's the only way you have a relationship with somebody.
It just feels like wasted time to me, and I just don't. I'm older now.
It's not like, I could look at my most recent dating or whatever thing, fling, whatever you want to call it, as a waste of time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I learned you learn a lot. What is so funny?
I cannot believe he brought that up on the first episode, and one of my best friends is just laughing at me because he knows there's no way for me to justify
I
it.
think what you've done is great.
I don't think it is now. Now I am going to get
And the block list isn't.
I'm going to get attacked. I will unblock everybody on my block list. Is that fair? Is that me being a new me? Everyone gets unblocked. Free reign. Have at it. You know? If you're watching this and you haven't heard from me in 2 years, you'll be unblocked in about 20 minutes. Shoot me a text. Cuss me out. What?
No.
What do you think?
About what? I've already talked to you about the block list like 3 times
No,
now.
I'm not. We're done with that one. I think in the next episode, we probably, whatever you think this needs to go now. But I still think there's a lot of stuff that we didn't get. It's crazy how fast an hour happens, you know? I think there's a lot of stuff to get to.
Yeah.
I really want to eventually get to the point where I think there's a lot of people kind of going through that about, like, if you want to call it betrayal at that time, or even, you know, from the other side of it, you know, maybe focusing too much on work and you don't realize in the moment that is, you know, that is hurting your relationship. In the moment, all you're thinking about is.
I just don't think people need to be focused on centering men, centering women in their lives. Like, you really have to get to know yourself and get to know other people and create friendships before you can go out there and start just making someone your life or giving someone half of your life. And I think that's the biggest issue is, like, people want to jump in, claim you're mine, you know, and it's just like, how do you even know if you like vacationing with them, or you like, you know,
That's
there's so many other
Was
things
I
that you need
not
to
a
look at.
horrible vacationing
Oh my God,
boyfriend?
yeah. So next episode we'll
Yeah.
talk about the vacations, because
Horrible.
terrible.
You weren't
Terrible.
great either, though.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, you were a horrible driver. I mean, horrible.
I literally
Nightmare.
drove you
Yeah,
everywhere,
I get it.
hours,
Horrible experience.
and you're complaining. This was great.
I complain about the vacation
All right.
driving.
Are we done?
We're not. We still have time. How much time do we have?
We're done.
We can wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to add, Josh? Is there any other? Because you know what's funny? If you would have put those in the mailbag, I wouldn't have read it. You know? Yeah. I would have just. I don't know. I think this podcast is a bad idea, but I'm so excited about it. Does that make any sense?
You contradict yourself daily.
I know that was, but I mean it. I think it's so scary to really put yourself out there to the public, and to really, I think some of the stuff, and truth be told, Kaci, I think we scratched 1% of the surface today.
Yeah, I think we're kind of like, maybe a little overwhelmed, and like, just there's so much has gone on. We're like bouncing,
Yeah.
but hopefully we'll get to dive into like certain things.
I think
you
so.
know?
I just think I think it's a big risk to do it all and to work out the type of trauma that you and I have, but also to work out our trauma in a public space for the idea that it may benefit, you know, somebody, whether
and
they're
it's
here.
still going on.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
we have not
I think we get
came to a complete peace. Like,
no,
at all.
we'll never have complete peace. That's for sure. But like I said, I mean, no, like my friends could not believe, my really close friends, they could not believe that we were doing this. They couldn't believe it because they knew me when you know I wasn't great, and I think what we have is really special, and I think as long as we don't attack each other on camera, I think this will go well. I just think it's a scary thing.
That's all, folks. Let's go.
You want to do the outro? You do it.
I gotta go.
I don't want to do it. You do it.
What do you say?
Oh
this
my
is
God.
This is the Exes podcast. Thank you for listening to this experiment.
No.
I don't know.
We are the Exes, a podcast experiment. That's the name. Trademark.
Whatever.
Exes, a podcast experiment. That's episode 1. That's Kaci Meacham, my ex, and she's great. You killed it. Thank
I
you.
have to go to the salon.
Well,
Bye bye.